Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to have you here with me, not just me, today. If you are new here, then welcome. If you are not, then welcome back. Today, decided to record this video. So as lots and lots of you know, those of you who will have watched Natasha's Day in the Life, which I'll link up here, will have seen that one of our incredible accountants, employees, Natasha, is actually a qualified hairdresser, and so she does all of our hair. And it's a Friday night tonight. Tasha is coming over to cut and dye my hair. We're going for a nice light blonde for the spring and for the summer, so very, very excited. Tasha is coming over to dye and cut my hair, and so we're gonna have some time. I think it takes like an hour, hour and a half to do, to colour the hair. So, sorry, James is sat behind the camera and he was like, an hour? Got an hour sat in front, got an hour sat together while we do my hair, and so I actually posted a sticker on my Instagram stories to ask you guys for some questions. You've actually got both of us sat dedicated for an hour answering your questions. There's some really, really juicy ones. I'm not gonna tell or mention them to Tasha before I ask, so you'll get her actual response to the questions. I'm really, really excited. So, little before of my hair, and I will show you again later, so let's go. Are you ready for the first question?
Always ready.
Cool. So, question for Tasha. How did you move from hairdressing to accountancy? It's really brave and you are smashing the stereotype.
And it's very, very different. Different role.
So how did you move?
That's a great question. So I guess starting back from basics at school, I was always, my strongest subject was maths, and I really understood it, it made sense. But I wasn't quite ready for it. I didn't have the qualifications. I just wanted to get out into the real world and get a proper job and make some money, do my driving, get all that done. So I was doing that for a couple of years, but I didn't want to let it go completely. I just wanted to still not move away from hair, but do a different role, sort of a job that opens up different doors and things. So it was actually my godmother who is an accountant. And I was speaking to her, it was during lockdown, I was just sort of looking for different roles to do, I knew I wanted to change. So I spoke to her about her role, it sounded really interesting, and that's sort of how I knew I wanted to do it. So during this time being in lockdown, it was a really good opportunity to start my level 2 AAT, because I had all this time off. So yeah, I've done that in lockdown, and looking around for jobs, and I found you guys. And it's the best move I've ever done.
Yeah, Natasha came in as a client coordinator, so it was really cool for us to have somebody coming in doing lots of administration, client onboarding, but with extra accounting knowledge. So Tasha was super overqualified to be doing that, and it's been an amazing gateway into accountancy, because Tasha has to answer everybody's questions about everything, and so she knows everything. Okay, next question is not about hairdressing. It is, who at work makes the best lunches? I would say Chris's mum. So Chris is Vietnamese, his family's Vietnamese, and he always brings in noodles and broth, and it's amazing. Or Tasha's mum, because Tasha's mum makes roasts middle of the week, so Tasha brings in roast dinners.
Yeah, she still cooks my dinners for me.
So Tasha's mum or Chris's mum, so actually no one at work, just people's mums. Who always wins at Monopoly Deal?
Need to answer that.
We don't need to answer that, because everybody knows it's James. James literally wins every single time. If James doesn't win, it's a fluke, and
if he doesn't play, we actually have a chance of winning.
Yeah, when James doesn't play, it's pretty fair. I think it's average across the board.
We actually get a game to play.
Yes, when James isn't at work, we actually have a proper game, whereas when James is at work, we all just try and stop James winning. So the answer is James.
Gotta be in it to win it.
Okay, Tasha, any tips for changing career? I want to leave the NHS to do accounting.
Wow, NHS, that's so good.
Well, isn't it?
If you want to go into accounting, what might help, although being an NHS worker, you're quite busy, maybe start off doing what I've done, AAT level 2, just to get a bit of background information, just before before you make that really, really big change. Yeah, just get a bit of background knowledge, and when you're ready, just look around. You can always offer to do an apprenticeship, so you can learn well on the job. That's a good way to start.
Definitely check that you like it. Check that it is what you want to do. Like there's so much really cool content on the internet. Not just us, like there's loads of other accountants with like YouTube channels and Instagram platforms where you can see like the real behind the scenes. There's lots of like online platforms that you can use, like QuickBooks and Xero, you can like have to play around with them and see what it's like. So definitely check that you like it. Start a qualification, because that always, as an employer, that's like super attractive as well. Oh, this is one of my favourite ones. Question for Tasha: what are Rachel and James like to work with, and is it fun working for a couple?
No pressure.
No pressure or anything.
I'm just gonna like do my hair wrong now.
It's quite normal for me because a lot of like, even salons I worked at before, they were a lot of like family-run businesses, and it was all quite a small business. So it's not like it's a new thing to me. I feel like it's quite nice. It's not like a big firm. It's quite personal, and everyone sort of like knows each other. Being in a small firm, it's just really fun. Accounting fun.
We are fun. Okay, Tasha, top tips: best ways to balance work and study. Tasha is probably the best person to ask this because she balances her actual work, her study, an apprenticeship, doing hair, having a boyfriend, having a social life.
And trying to exercise.
And exercising.
I guess like one thing I've really learned is actually writing it in your diary. If you put it in your diary and you know it's there, then you're forced to do it. You can just see it in there. So have it in your diary. Maybe go into the library or just somewhere quiet to study.
Yeah.
Because you're not distracted with anything else. Yeah, just probably just noting it down.
Just finding ways to keep yourself accountable, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like it's different for everybody. Yeah, like some people like have to have it booked in or they'll never do it. Other people like set themselves targets, like buy yourself some nice food and say like when I've done 2 hours of revision, then I can do it. But especially if it's balancing work and study, I think the best thing is having people around you that like understand what you're all going through, can help you do it. So like if you do live, like Tasha lives at home with her family, and like Tasha's mum's way of supporting her is by cooking her food so that Tasha doesn't have to worry about it, so she can concentrate on studying. And
that's the worst thing when you're hungry.
Yeah, literally your brain doesn't work, you can't study when you're hungry. And there's little things like that like Tasha's mum might not even think of, but like to just be able to take that stress out of your day, it makes studying way easier. Yeah, finding ways to reward yourself and like being kind to yourself. And then again, I guess if it's work and study, like having an employer that will be like flexible and understanding and give you time off, like so you don't have to like take annual leave to take exams and things. You can just take some time off.
Yeah, definitely give yourself a little reward afterwards.
Normally edible, but give yourself a reward afterwards. Question for Tasha: what's Rachel like in real life?
Exactly how she is online. Happy, smiley, confident.
All those things.
Great.
Tips for somebody who is super anxious in exams.
Someone anxious in exams.
Do you get anxious? I feel like you don't.
Not really, so that's quite hard for me to answer.
So I get very anxious in exams, so I can talk to you all about this. I definitely found I get really bad anxiety like around the unexpected. So even things like if I'm going to an exam centre, do I know where to park? Like, have I driven there before? Like things like that, like the journey would stress me out because I'd just be very hyper stressed anyway. So like, always go to places that you've been to before, book exams and test centres that you've been to before. And again, with the unexpected, like the best way to get rid of the unexpected, specifically for AAT exams, because they're all the same, is to like practice, because like in AAT exams, all of the questions are standard questions, and you know that like you would get a budgeting question in question 1, then question 2 would be about costing, and then like you can, the more you do, the more familiar you are with the content and the subject. So that means the only thing that will change is actually just the questions, but you know everything else. And so like over preparing definitely helps. Giving yourself a cut-off time. So like don't cram. I feel like if you're an anxious person, cramming is just counterproductive. You won't sleep and it will just deteriorate everything else for the day. So like do a cut-off point, whereas like from 12 noon the day before the exam, just commit to not doing anything and focus on yourself, calming down rather than getting more brain power in there.
And I feel like everyone fails, like if no one failed, it would just be so easy, and everyone could do it.
Yeah, the reason being an accountant is impressive is that it's really bloody difficult. And if you go into exams thinking that you're going to pass every exam, like you're putting unrealistic expectations on yourself. Like people fail. Yeah, like people do fail. And if you are kind to yourself, I think that's
the worst thing. You can just do it again.
yeah. All right, final question is Tasha. What's the best and worst bit about your job?
Best bit is lovely people to work with, caring bosses, because that's hard to find. Worst bit, I wouldn't say it's like the worst bit. It's just quite a lot of like deadlines, and you've got to really think about like priorities and what needs to be done next, and just being like really accurate with what you do.
Yeah.
And it's quite hard. All the business owners think they have a different view to accounting. It's just explained in a way that they understand.
Yeah, like a big part of our job, like translating things. Like we understand it and we understand it in accounting language, and we have to translate that into a way that not only the client understands, but they feel comfortable with and they agree with, like they're like happy with what you've done. And I think Tasha's really good at the deadline side of things and like prioritising what's urgent versus important versus, oh my god, there's a file we need to put out because of like hairdressing. Like, you know when you're in the salon and there's someone running around that's like sweeping the floor, on the phone, doing foils and washing someone's hair at the same time, like that's Tash. And having come from that environment, she just keeps doing that, but just in an office environment. And so she's a little puppy Robin.
Yeah, it's like someone's car has got to be washed off now and you've got to do it this time. Yeah,
so wants a coffee and you've got to bring someone in and take payment from somebody else. Like that's how like Tasha like grew up in that environment, and so that's why she's amazing at her job.
Thanks.
Jim, can you stop it now? I actually did it before on my hair as well on the video before you came.
Oh, did you?
This is my hair.
This is my hair.
Just in case you think like, oh, that was a blunt video. I'll do that after as well.
In case I didn't get real.
No real. Still up. Everybody, happy Saturday. Me and Tasha got finished so late last night. I literally didn't even have time to pick up my camera. I went straight to bed. It's now Saturday morning and I actually just wanted to show you the finished product. Tasha is an absolute queen. So grateful. We literally have the best team ever, and yeah, just so lucky to have her like as my friend, as my hairdresser, and as somebody that we get to work together. So I just wanted to come on, show you my new hair, say I hope you enjoyed our Q&A session. They're definitely something I think we'll start doing a lot more frequently, so thank you so much for joining us. I'm so grateful. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I hope to see you again very soon.